after 50 years in print, who would have thought that sales of Atlas Shrugged would have reached an all-time high in 2008 with nearly 200,000 copies sold? Madam Toastmaster, lovely wife, members, guests. May I have a quick show of hands of how many of you have read The Atlas Shrugged or The Fountainhead? Okay, thank you. Like some of you, I've read these books. I like them. They captured and held my attention, and the stories and the characters made me feel good about working hard, and I confess, inspired me to think a bit more deeply and work a bit harder. However, I didn't know anything about the author, Ayn Rand, or her philosophy, which I've come to learn is called objectivism. So my objective today, no pun intended, is to simply introduce you to the philosophy of objectivism. However, this speech is only going to be a quick overview since I can't, and I bet few people could, explain this philosophy or any philosophy in 6 to 8 minutes. Let's start at the beginning. A philosophy is the rational investigation of the truths and principles of being, knowledge, or conduct. Put another way, a philosophy is a subject which studies man's relationship to reality. There are 5 branches to philosophy. Metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, politics, and aesthetics, art. Today I'm going to briefly explain the objectivism's position on just 3 of these: metaphysics, epistemology, and ethics. Now, metaphysics is the basic branch of philosophy that examines the nature of reality, including the relationship between mind and matter. What is real? Are there 2 realities? How does reality operate? The essence of objectivism's position on metaphysics is this: reality exists as an objective absolute. Facts are facts, independent of man's feelings, wishes, hopes, or fears. In objectivism, there are 3 concepts in metaphysics. 1, reality. Reality is the sum of everything. Reality is the principle upon which objectivism begins. The immediate consequence of this first reality leads to the second, which is identity. From Aristotle, the law of identity, which is that A is A. Things are what they are. Each entity exists as something in particular, and it has characteristics that are part of what it is. And the third primary concept is consciousness, which is simply the ability of being aware of one's own existence and perceiving that which exists. In objectivism, reality is independent of consciousness. Just because you wish for something to be true, either by yourself or with others, doesn't make it so. And reality is what it is no matter the content or belief of the human mind. That is, reality is independent from any supernatural being, or God, or Allah, or Zeus. Objectivists deny. They're atheists. Now, epistemology is the second branch of philosophy that is concerned with the nature and origin of knowledge. Epistemology asks the question, what do you know? How do you know it? What qualifies as knowledge? The key word to describe the objectivism's position on epistemology is reason. Reason is the only means to knowledge, starting with the senses and using logic to reach conclusions. And there are 3 elements to reason. 1, observation, using the senses. Observation is the foundation of knowledge. 2, the formation of concepts. In objectivism, concepts are objective and are not a product of a mysticism or any supernatural being. And to use concepts properly, you must use logic, the third element of reason. Now, the result of using reason as a basis for knowledge is that you can rely on the conclusions. Your knowledge is certain. Lastly, in objectivism, knowledge is not obtained through emotions or opinions. Knowledge is obtained through reason. Now, epistemology and metaphysics give rise to the central branch of philosophy called ethics. Ethics is the branch of philosophy dealing with the values relating to human conduct. What is right? What is wrong? How should you live your life? What is the goal of life? The objectivist stand on ethics is rational self-interest, which means the values required for man's survival as man. This is not the values produced by desires, emotions, feelings, or whims. So this isn't narcissism, and it's no license to do as you please. And there are two primary virtues in objectivism: rationality and productivity. First, rationality. The full use of your mind in understanding and thinking, which is a vital practical necessity to survival. Alternatively, man's basic vice is irrationality, unfocused thinking, the suspension of consciousness, which is not blindness, but a refusal to see. Not ignorance, but a refusal to know. The other essential virtue is productivity, since man can only survive by his own effort. Everything man needs has to be discovered by his own mind and produced by his own effort. So the two essential methods of survival to a rational being are thinking and productive work. Let me now summarize what I've told you about objectivism. There are just three key points. First, objective reality. Reality exists as an objective absolute. Facts are facts. Reality is independent of man's consciousness or feelings, wishes, hopes, or fears. Second, reason is man's only means of perceiving reality, his only source of knowledge, his only guide to action, and his basic means of survival. And third, man, every man, is an end to himself, not the means to the ends of others. Man must exist for his own sake, neither sacrificing himself to others or sacrificing others to himself. The pursuit of man's own rational self-interest is the highest moral purpose of his life. I'll leave you with a quote from Ayn Rand, which I think does a good job of encapsulating the essence of objectivism. She wrote, "My philosophy, in essence, is the concept of man as a heroic being, with his own happiness as the moral purpose of his life, with productive achievement his noblest activity, and reason as his only absolute." Madam President.